This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Shalom Aleichem. We continue in the Sefer Devorah. Be'ezras Hashem, we will try to complete Perek Gimel today. Brief recap. Perek Gimel discusses the Sefira of Chochma. Chochma, we said, is apparent in all creation, although it's hidden, as it says, Marabu Masach Hashem. Therefore, it is appropriate that a person's Chochma should be found in everything. Meaning in everything one does, one should be able to see the person's Chochma, and furthermore, one should be mashpia their Chochma without any interference. Now, Chochma has two aspects, two puns. One that looks upward to be makabel from keser, one that looks downward. Likewise, a person should have his own learning time to amass his own Chochma for the sake of Chochma in and of itself, and to share with others. Then the Devorah spoke out three ways with which we use Chochma, three ways with which we can emulate the sphere of Chochma. Number one, it is the feature of Chochma to oversee all of Metzios, to constantly thinking about all. So likewise, the same way the Rebbeinu Shalom is always Choshev Machshavos, Leval Yidach Mimenu Nidach. The Rebbeinu Shalom is always thinking thoughts, how to bring people back, how to ensure that they have a future and hope. And no one is too far gone from the purview of the Rebbeinu Shalom's machshava. One should always think about the Am Hashem, of what ways a person could be miyasher others, straighten others, help others, influence others. Furthermore, the Devorah mentioned that Chochma's characteristic is it breathes life. Therefore, one should be a guiding light in terms of offering life to people, be it in Olam Hazeh, be it in Olam Haba, be a ever flowing source of life. And finally, what we learned yesterday was it is the feature of Chochma to be an av to everything. The same way Chochma was the progenitor of everything that's created, one should try to conduct himself as if he would be a father to all. And therefore one should always ask for rachamim and bracha for the whole world. The same way Hashem is an avaracham unto all of creation, one should always pray for the distress of others as if they are your children. In other words, it is not enough to empathize and to sympathize, but one should feel someone's pain acutely as if you bore them. And this is what Hashem told Moshe. Moshe says, God, why did you tell me to carry the people? Did I give birth to them? But apparently God did tell Moshe to bear the responsibility and shoulder the responsibility of the people. And therefore, the Devorah says that one should gather in the sheep of Klal Yisrael, the missing, the forlorn, the forgotten, the broken, the lost. Nobody should be beneath you. After all, you are their father. And finally, the Devorah says another feature of Chochma. The last feature was being a father. The feature before was bringing life. This feature, again, many of them may overlap, but this feature is very specific to Rachamim. Oid tzarech lios rachamav prusim al kol hanavram. One's mercy should be spread over all that was created. Which specifically means that nothing should be despised or destroyed. Don't despise anyone or anything. Don't destroy anyone or anything. Everything has a purpose, everything has a tachlis, because the midah of Chochma, we said, is prusa b'kol. God's wisdom is in everything. God's wisdom is in a blade of grass. God's wisdom is in a leaf. So if you're walking by a tree, don't rip off a leaf just for the sake of it. Sharia Chochma Ha'alyoina, the supernal wisdom, Hifrusa al Kal Navram, is spread over all of creation. Doimim, inanimate, Vitsoimeach, and that which grows, V'chai, and that which is alive, Umedaber, and that which speaks. Umitam zeh husharnu mibizoy oichlin. For this reason, we are warned not to waste food, not to disgrace food, not to have food fights. Friends, tonight at dinner, do not throw your spaghetti and cheese across the table. Why? So the question is, what does it have to do with bizoy oichlem? He just said that you're not allowed to waste anything. So Rav Goldberg explains, you're not allowed to be mevazeh or me'abed anything. Everything has a purpose. But food is considered even more important in terms of the manner with which we treat it, because since a person is sustained and gains nourishment from food, one has to be especially careful in the manner in which one regards food. V'al davar zeh roi. This is fitting. This is proper. Shekamoi she'hachochma al yoina eina mevaza shum nimsa. Just like the supernal wisdom does not disgrace anything which is found, v'hakol nasa misham, because everything is produced from Chochma, d'chsiv kulam b'Chochma asisa, you made everything with wisdom. Kain yiu rachamei ha'adam al kol ma'asav yisbarach, man's mercy should be upon all of God's creations. Umitam zed is for this reason, haya oynesh Rabbeinu HaKadosh, that Rebbe was punished, al yidei shaloi chas al ben abakar, for not having mercy on the calf. Shahei mischabe yetzle. We know the famous Gemara in Bamitzia, a calf came running under Rebbe's cloak, and Rebbe said, "Go, that's what you were created for." V'amar lai zil lekach noitzarta, get out of here. You were created to be slaughtered. Bo la yisurim. So he was affected with travails. Why? Says the Torah Devorah, this was not a punishment. Rebbe wasn't being punished with Yisurim. It was a natural consequence. Shehei mitzad hadin. Suffering comes from midas hadin. What protects from din? Rachamim. Sheharachamim meginim aladim. Mercy protects on din. So Rebbe did not have rachamim. In other words, this was, so to speak, according to Talmud Devorah, something lacking in Chochma, because if you appreciate the Chochma of something, you would not let it go to waste, you would not dismiss it, you would not despise it. So Rebbe, because he dealt with the cow, b'midas hadin, he did not have rachamim to protect him from din. However, later on, when Rebbe showed mercy to the weasel, v'chasharichem ala chulda, when Rebbe was merciful on the weasel, v'amar, and he said, rachamav al komasav. So this was not a reward, this was also natural. Nitzo min adin, he was saved from punishment, mimnesha pairash or hachachma alav, because the light of wisdom was spread upon him, v'nestalku hayisurim, and the Yisurim departed. V'al derech hazeh, and in this vein, lo yevaza shum nimsa, do not disgrace anything which is found, min hanimtsaim. Shekulam b'chachma, they are all created with wisdom. Don't despise anything. Don't uproot something that's planted. Don't develop a habit that when you pass by a tree, you rip off a branch. I have a tendency, I love doing that. Rip off a branch, then you tear it into 100 pieces. No, refrain from doing that. Why? What's wrong? There's no tsar balei chayim, they don't feel. The answer is, there's chochma in the leaf. So you can't destroy it, you can't ruin it. That's a lack of appreciation of Chochma. Chochma therefore dictates Rachamim. Don't kill a living thing only if you need to. In other words, people say, well, could I go fishing? So if you're going to eat the fish, you could go fishing. Yeah, but fish don't have feelings. I don't know. That could be true. But if you're just going for the sport, maybe you shouldn't. This would be, is this considered a need? In other words, the fish have chachma in it. Don't stop that chachma from functioning. The yivral, and now if you have to shecht an animal, because you have to eat dinner, it's the 9 days, you made a siyam. I don't know, you learned chagiga another time, so you made a siyam. The yivral lahem misa yafa, you could choose a good death for the animal. What's a good death? Shchita. Besak and veduka, with a smooth knife, a check knife, l'rachim amada efshar. Zeh klal, here's a general rule. Hachemla al ka nimtzaim. Have mercy on all of creation, shaloi lechablam, not to destroy them. This midah of having rachamim is toloi and chochma, tuya b'chochma. Unless, of course, you want to do the animal a favor. You're pulling off the leaf because you want to eat it and transform the soimeach into a medaber. Or you want to eat the cow because you're going to eat the cow and now he's going to turn into a human. Everybody knows when a cow says moo, moo, the cow is saying, eat me, now I'm just a chai, turn me into a medaber. Mitzoimeach l'chai, from that which grows to something which is alive. Mechai l'medaber, from something which is alive to something that speaks. Sha'az muter la'akar tzameach. Under these circumstances, you're allowed to uproot something that grows, ulahamas achai, and to kill a living being. La'chai v'almanas l'zaka. It's basically you're bringing detriment for the sake of bringing merit. So if your intention in shechting the cow is to make a good shulant, because you want to elevate the cow, you want to give the cow a raise. The cow used to be a chai, now you want to make the cow a speaking cow. That is permitted because that is rachamim. You're actually enhancing, we could say, the chochma that's in the cow. This concludes Parag Gimel, and Be'ezras Hashem, we will continue tomorrow.
So
Reb
Rebbe,
Nosson, no pressure, Reb Nosson.
so Rebbe, if you see a roach on the floor in the kitchen, you're not allowed to step on it.
So that might be a necessity, because if your wife comes in, she's going to shriek and she's going to stand up. And you don't mind?
No, well, I mean, it's not something you want to see in your kitchen.
So if it's a matter of hygiene and it's a nuisance, it sounds like it would be better to carry it, put it in a cup, and take it outside. But Rav Moshe has a tshuva. Like if you have bugs in your house, you're better off getting an exterminator than killing it yourself. He says you should avoid doing it yourself, not to inculcate the midah of achzarius. Look, sometimes you have a nuisance, but
The glue trap. We have them for crickets. We have like hundreds of crickets on the glue trap.
the exact way of disposing of these of insects is beyond the scope of today's shiur. But if anyone has any personal questions, please have a great day.
I withdraw the question.
Okay, Rabbi Say,
Good night, Rebbe.
have a good night. Kol tov.
When somebody wants to tear things up, they're angry, and they want to tear things up to get rid of their anger.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.